Hey everybody, welcome to Dutchman's Wood Shack. I'm Jeff. As you can see, right now what I'm doing is this right here. This is that one I finished the other day. Well, I didn't finish. I mean, finished gouging, but I put one coat of polyurethane on this. Okay, so now what am I doing now? This is smooth. See, here's the deal with this. Now, when I first started doing this, finishing, um, I put one coat on this. It was just average coat, and it got kind of rough right here. Inside was okay, it was like it was polished, but the outside was rough. All right, so what I used was this. Now, there's my detail sander. It works out great. I think this is 400. Yeah, I'm using 400 and up on this. So the idea here is to put a couple, 2, 3 coats on this one. And each time I do it, I use the 400 grit. Now, depending on how my next two go on, I kind of like the way this looks now. I don't want to get too carried away with it. I might just put one, maybe 2 tops on this. Normally I go 5 coats on it, but it just depends on how the finish is. And this one, it's got that nice, it's got a satin look to it, but it's not very shiny. It's smooth. And all I want to do with this is actually make it stay the way it is. Now, this will be for sale. Next weekend I'll be at the Batavia Farmers Market / Artisans Roll. Back end, usually at the north end of the road there, River Street. They'll have it closed off, and I'll be there for this. And I'll be selling this, or if you guys, anybody online wants it, let me know. I'll let you know what the prices are. I normally don't post prices. I can, but it's kind of hard to insert those things because I never know what it's going to come out. But I'm going to show you how I do this now. First off, I got some tack cloth, mighty old tack cloth. All right, so now the tack cloth will get any kind of residue. Most of the time it gets it off. It'll get any kind of dust or debris that you had when you were sanding it, all right? Now, if you wanted to, if you don't want to put any more on, you could probably end up polishing it. You know, sometimes people take and polish it with something, but I'm going to put one more protective coat on here. Okay, so tack cloth is a good example. Now, I kind of goofed up a little bit on this. It's the cleaner section here. What I try to do is use this section on both the front and the back. But right now I got the front. And normally I kind of just fold it around like that. You know, honestly, I'm probably the worst guy to tell you how to use a tack cloth. But if it were me, next time, when I keep telling myself, I'd cut the thing in sections so you have 4 different sections. And that way, you're not getting mixed up with anything else that's on there. Okay, so now I have to get my finish first. Now, this is the stuff I use right here. It's great stuff. Works great. I don't have a problem with it. Just make sure you mix it up, and I've already mixed it up a little bit in the past. What happens is, and I'll show you this real quick. Oh yeah, try to keep your can rim clean as much as you can. Okay, so let's see. A lot of times what happens is you get stuff on the bottom. But see, this is why you should mix this all the time. Whenever you use it, mix it for a little bit, depending on what you got in there. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so now, next step. Since I'm using the Wipe On Poly, I don't need a lot. Now, if you want to use a brush, you can, but remember this. If you use a brush, make sure you wipe it off after you put it on there, because what happens is it runs. Unless you're really good. I suck at it, but I've used brushes on this in places I can't get to. Sometimes when I've got a lot of bark on it, like when I do the bark bowls, I'll use a brush on the bark part of it and then leave the other stuff. I'm using gloves too, by the way, because this stuff is hard to get off. And you know, chemicals are put in this stuff nowadays. You never know. You never know. Okay, so you know, just a side note, there was a guy, there's a comedian out there that used to do, God, I can't even get these on, used to do this thing with hand gloves. And he would get out there and blow the hand gloves up and put it on his head like a chicken. Who was that? Howie Mandel. I think that's how he got to start doing goofy stuff like that. But anyway, okay, so what I'm going to do here is just lightly put some in here. And now, you don't need a lot, especially after the first coat, because it's all going to be soaked up really good. And you stand more of a chance of boogering the thing up. Look at turn it on. Okay, so yeah, see, that's the one thing I like about Wipe On Poly. Most of the time, it has a good reaction to the wood I use. Okay, so, but I mean, that's up to you and your stuff. Now, as far as when you do bark, like stuff like this with bark, that's not bad, all right? But it soaks it up. And make sure you just spend more time on that. See, now this one bowl turned out really nice because I didn't take all the bark out. And it's just the way the pattern was on the bark. Okay, so now around that. See, I didn't need much. Got it? So now this is where it's your job to go through, look at stuff, see what you got, make sure you got it all inside and out. Turns out pretty good. Now, what I normally do with this, after it's dried, and I'll make one more pass, I might just put 1,000 grit sandpaper on this and buff it. And that's probably good enough for this. Okay, now safety factor comes in, all right? Normally, I just kind of clean this up a little bit here. I'll put that on. Okay, that's good. All right, so safety factor. Okay, safety rule number one. If you're, yeah, that's my I'm an ex-fireman. I don't want to be burning my house down. So what I have is this. Metal cans. Now what I'll do is I'll probably throw this next trash day and we're good to go. And so there you go. Now this one here I'm working on, and I have a few issues here. Then I've got to finish sanding that, and then I got to finish sanding inside too, because you can still see little indentations there. This one was a booger to do. I couldn't go any further because of the setup on my lathe, so I gotta kind of have to deal with what that is. It's not bad. I kind of like the way it looks. We'll see what it looks like after I'm done. Anyway, I'll let you go. Thanks for watching Dutchman's Woodcheck. Remember, if you're not making sawdust, you're not creating anything, so get with the program.